Hello, Sharon Plauché here, and I'm really happy to connect with you today. So, I'm reaching out to all caregivers in caregiver land, that world where it seems like it has a never ending need, demand, or request. So, many of you that know me know that I love to share simple, effective techniques for being able to take care of ourselves and really regulate our nervous systems, balance our brain, because at the end of the day, it impacts how we see ourselves in the world, how we feel emotionally, how we feel physically, and even our connection to like the greater good, like the bigger purpose in life. So today I'd like to go over a really simple technique on how to activate something called our vagus nerve. So our vagus nerve is part of the 10th, it's a 10th cranial nerve, and it's part of our autonomic nervous system, and it's the regulator of what we call the rest and digest, that sense of, ah, life, I love life, I'm feeling good. And it helps to bring down that stress and anxiety and overwhelm that can happen just from the demands of daily life. So, this vagus nerve is so interesting. It's like one of our superpowers, and it's super easy to what we need to do is like turn it on. Because when we get stressed, it goes offline and turns off, and we want to be able to turn that on. So, the first way we can do that is by yawning, a little stretching, and stroking down our throat, because this nerve actually passes here from our head down through our throat to our heart, our lungs, all the way down through our belly to our hips to what we even call the pelvic floor. So it's called this wandering nerve, and also the wonder nerve, because it changes our state and our feeling of well being really quickly. So we can yawn in a stretch and stroke down our throat. We can also come here behind our ears, and by rubbing behind our ears, we're stimulating that nerve. Some people like to tap. I kind of like to rub, where we rub that, and it activates that relaxation response and is really neuroregulating our brain. We can also massage our ears, kind of pull on them, get a little sense of movement, and that also activates that vagus nerve. We can also have our finger with our nail facing forward, rested in the ear canal, and not pushing in, but just resting there. And then as we push back along that edge, we can float up and down, do little circles, and that actually also activates that vagus nerve. And you might notice that you're wanting to yawn a little bit, and that's the sign that we're turning on that vagus nerve. We can also let our finger float up over the first ridge into this little indent here, and that little indent is called the simba. And when we gently apply pressure and a little bit of stimulation, it activates that vagus nerve. That's the closest surface that that vagus nerve comes to our exterior. And I also like to say any little tool can help. I'm just looking over here. Some of our pens have these soft edges for being on our devices. We can let that rest in there and apply a little pressure. I've got a lovely rose quartz massage tool that can kind of come in there and give a little bit of stimulation and pressure. So today we're talking about the value of activating that vagus nerve. So that stroking down the throat, yawning, massaging behind the ears. Now, there's one other thing we can add that's super simple, and it's having a longer exhale. So if we inhale, we have a longer exhale that activates the vagus nerve. But the easiest way to do that is to sing a little song or whistle or hum, because we do that inhale and there's a longer exhale when we sing, when we whistle, when we So it's the vibration of the sound and it's the longer exhale that also activates that vagus nerve. So can you imagine in caregiver land where it feels like it's a never ending demand that we could yawn and stretch, sing a little happy tune, rub behind our ears, stretch our ears, massage those little inner spots, and know at the end of the day, we can regulate our nervous system and our brain and be ready for the next step that life has to bring. So I'll see you soon. Take care of your precious self because you're amazing. And thank you for being a caregiver. But let's make sure we're taking care of you. See you next time.